I guess belongs up here. Well, good morning, everybody. I couldn't be more excited to be in Chicago. We are seeing more momentum on the ground and across the country than I have ever seen in politics, than I have ever seen in my life. Not just here, but in the states that will decide this election, but even in states that might not be competitive, you are seeing more people come out. More people give money, more people volunteer, more people get on board with this campaign. It is really exciting to feel it all over this country. The energy is unprecedented. From the volunteers to the grassroots donations pouring in to the stories that we hear directly from voters themselves. As Americans are tuning in, they are hearing straight from Democrats and Democratic governors about the issues that matter most to them. That's why I'm excited for my good friend, Tim Walz, and he's going to become our next vice president. He is a teacher, a coach, and a lifelong hunter. Tim won his very first state in something that I know, a deep red district, by fighting for farmers and for rural communities. Tim understands that we don't govern to move a country or a state to the right or the left. Tim won his first race by recognizing that our job is to move our people forward, no matter how hard Donald Trump tries to drag us backwards. When people wake up in the morning, they are not thinking about the most recent rant by Donald Trump on Truth Social. They're thinking about their job and whether they make enough to support their families. They're thinking about the next doctor's appointment for themselves, their parents, or their kids. They're thinking about the roads and bridges they're going to drive that day. They're thinking about the public safety in their community and the public school they're going to drop their kids off that day. That is how Tim Walz has governed in Minnesota, addressing people's everyday needs, and it's why he has done such a good job for everyone, Democrat, Republican, Independent, lifting all of his citizens up. When you look at Tim, you see a Democratic governor delivering results in every community, from the cities to the suburbs to rural towns. Like Vice President Harris, he has worked around the clock to help middle-class families get ahead. He brought Minnesota to the lowest unemployment rate of any state in recorded history. He signed the largest tax cut in state history to put money back in families' pockets. Under his leadership, Minnesota, along with Kentucky, is now one of the top states to do business. He increased funding for law enforcement to keep Minnesotans safe. He took action to protect reproductive freedoms when Donald Trump's Supreme Court stripped them away. That's what leadership looks like. So I couldn't be more excited for the Harris-Walz ticket, because I know that they'll keep fighting tooth and nail for all of us Americans. They'll lower costs for middle-class families. They will protect our freedoms. They will expand access to affordable health care. They'll make sure our country moves forward and not backward. President Biden said that picking Kamala Harris as his vice president was the first and the best decision he made as nominee for president. I know that we will look back and say the same thing about President Harris's selection of Coach Walz. And maybe hearing that from me is something. But I love Tim Walz. He's a good man. He's been there for me. He's going to be a great vice president. He's going to be a great role model for all Americans. I'm proud that my kids are going to get to watch him give that speech tonight. And I couldn't be more excited for his family to share in this moment with him. So with Vice President Harris and Tim Walz leading the way, we will bring joy back to our country. We will fight every day, and as Tim Walz says, we'll sleep when we're dead, and we will win this election this November. Thank you all.